Hi M3s, hope you're doing well. So this is an instructional video on how to do your reflection. Uh, you can do this in either Google Slides or you can do it in Pixlr. I recommend Pixlr because it's a lot easier to use, but there's pros and cons to both. You may prefer just working on slides. This is a lot easier to do if you have a mouse. I have a trackpad, so it's going to be quite challenging. First, you'll need your process photo of your still life drawing. Hopefully, you took that with Cam Scanner and have a nice cropped image without any distortions. I've got mine prepped in here already. Drag and drop these into your slide. Okay, make sure they both fit on one slide. So I need to scale it down a little bit. And you want the size of the still life drawing, the still life object to be the same as your drawing. So even if the photo is a little bit bigger, I'm looking at the size of the still life. Try to make it the same size because it's a lot easier to see positive, negative space that way. Okay, so first off, when I look at this, I notice a couple reference lines that are not accurate. The left bottom edge of the toolbox is way too tilted in mine, and the actual drawing is a lot more horizontal. So I'm going to show this with a red line on the bottom edge of the toolbox right here. And then I can change the color to red. Okay, and also the handle is also tilted too much in my drawing. It should be a little bit more vertical. That's I do have pretty good reference line across this edge of the toolbox. So I'm going to mark that right here, and I'll make this one green because it's successful. So that's how you mark the horizontal and vertical reference lines with red and green showing where you did well and where you need work. So it's a little bit trickier using the Google Slides to show shapes, but I look at this and I see that I did a pretty good job with this little negative space window between the screwdriver, the toolbox, and the hammer handle. So to show a shape, click on Polyline. Scribble doesn't work too well, I've found. And you're going to have to do a bunch of double clicks in here. Oh, nope. That line didn't work too well. Let's try that again. I really don't like this part of the task done in slides. It's just not easy to do, especially without a mouse. Okay, I was able to do it. Let's fill it with green to show that was successful. And then I would show this area around here. In my drawing, I drew that triangular edge way too big. So let's try doing that with the poly tool. And right now I can immediately see that trying to navigate around that screwdriver is going to be next to impossible. So I'm just not even going to try that. I find it much easier to do this in Pixlr. This is linked in our resources. Make sure you go to pixlr.com/e and not /x. So you'll start by clicking Create New. Scroll down and click 12 MPX megapixels. Click Create. Okay, then go to find your two photos and drag and drop. When you do this, make sure you click Add Current and not Create New. The reason being is that if you click Create New, it will make a file that's the same resolution as your photo, and I want this to be much more HD, so mine's 4K. I'm doing it this way. So same process as before. Make your pictures about the same size. And one thing that's really cool that you can do in Pixlr is move your layers around like this. I could put the this photo on top of this one, and then right click over here, change the opacity down to maybe 75, and you can kind of see both pictures at once. So I can kind of see that this needs to be a little bit bigger, and then it also helps me kind of see where my reference lines are off, like the handle of the hammer. I can really see that's off in my drawing. Slide it down here so we can see both at the same time. Change my opacity back up. And now lines are really easy to do. Let's make the bottom layer, that layer 1, let's make that white. Okay. Fill that in white just so it looks a little neater, like that. And then I'm going to add in another empty layer on top to do my drawing on. I don't want my drawing to be on the same layer as the photo. Okay, so first off, let's draw a simple line showing successful reference lines. Make sure you change this from design over to draw and click on the line. You want about 10-point font. And in my drawing, this horizontal edge of the toolbox where these things all touch is done really well. I'll change this white over to red and show you that the bottom edge of the toolbox is way too tilted at an angle. Up here it's a lot more horizontal. And now the best part is drawing shapes. You can press down the space bar and click and drag, move around your drawing really easily, and zoom in and out. All features that you can't really do on Google Slides. So I'll start by outlining the edges of this negative space window. Oops, that should be green. Let's swap your colors, put green on top. Okay, trace around this edge like this. And then for the organic part at the bottom, I'll switch over to the pen or the brush tool. Make sure you're on 10 the same as the line, and you can trace over this organic edge of the screwdriver like that. Then switch over to the fill tool, and because it's a whole shape, we can fill it in like that. However, there's a lot of common mistakes with this part right here. For one, if you don't connect your corners and edges and make a complete whole shape and you leave like a little gap like that, maybe you don't see it, maybe it's only one little pixel, but then when you try to fill this in, it's going to fill in the whole page and you'll be frustrated, like, why? I just want to fill in that one little shape. So make sure you're filling in all the edges and corners connect. Another common mistake is you'll accidentally click on another layer, and this line will be drawn on a different layer, and even though it looks like it's a whole solid shape, again, when you try to use the fill tool, it'll fill in the whole page again, because even though it looks like a whole shape when you have all the layers visible, these lines are on different layers, so they're not actually together. Okay, simple hack for that is hitting Control-6, and that will merge these down together to one layer like that. So now let's fill this in. That other spot that I wanted to show, the left side of the toolbox, also very easily done on Pixlr. Make sure I got red on top, and I would outline the edges of this box right here. Almost done. Okay. And then everything else is pretty organic, so I can switch over to the brush tool, trace over the screwdriver. And this edge where the handle touches, and then I can click over on fill, like that. Okay. All right, so when you're finished, make sure you have a couple areas of successful space, unsuccessful space, successful reference lines, and unsuccessful reference lines. And then when you're done, you can just hit Control S or just go up to File, Save a JPEG, and get that into your process journal. Title it with the date, still life, reflection, and we'll have about 3 more of these this week. Okay?